Focus. Focus.
To a whole nother domain. Out the bottom, I'm a living proof. If you're talking all this, better pop up in your forces and all this chase.
Green goose got you feeling loose. You don't know me, I got the juice, yeah. Bad and bougie, you looking so.
Hi guys, my name is Tochi. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. Today we're going to be delving into part 2 of our series, African Parents Care Too Much About What People Think. And we're going to be focusing on education and field of study. Joining me today, we're going to have Mimi, a Nigerian living in England. Keep watching.
African family, you got 4 choices of career: doctor, lawyer, engineer, disgrace to the family.
Initially, I started studying fashion.
Yeah.
I saw people in my family saying that I should study a real subject, you know, that I should do something like law, economics, and then, you know, afterwards, if I wanted, I should do the fashion thing, but, you know, I should get a proper degree.
I wonder what it is when people say like a real subject, almost implying that anything in the creative field isn't real. Speaking like from a Nigerian standpoint, I think there's this idea that unless it's like a concrete field like medicine or law or business, people just think, well, what can you do if you're just writing?
The problem with Nigerians in that aspect is the lack of education or creativity.
I think the West tends to push creativity, whereas I don't know what it is in Nigeria where we just like overlook it. I don't know what it is, like why it's pushed to the side or neglected.
To be told that we're not good enough, we're not this, and all of that, and I think subconsciously for Africans, that's what they're fighting for.
Yes.
And they don't seem to understand that there is a different kind of prestigiousness, but because they're so used to being deemed as Africans who are, you know, that good or whatever, they want their child to be the doctor and they want their child to be the lawyer, so they can say like, oh, you see, yeah, we're from Africa, but my kid's the one who's performing the surgery. And I know a lot of Indian people who face the same stereotypes, especially in England, you know, just like us, they're all pushed to do those kind of subjects.
Yeah.
Again, in order for you to be prestigious, you have to, in terms, do something that they deem as being prestigious.
Yeah.
Prestigious, which includes subjects like law and doctrine fields, etc.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I think what a lot of them don't understand is the complexity of it, the natural talent that comes with being a creative person.
Yeah.
You can't learn that. Like, that can't be more.
Yeah.
Like, I know the amount of white people who idealise our fashion, our culture, our music,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we have the white man capitalising on African fashion and African music, and that stems from the fact that our society doesn't embrace it in us.
I think our generation is going to change that though. I feel like more people are becoming accepting of creative fields and seeing them as real professions. People love to belittle creative subjects until you make something of yourself with them. So it's like, you could do creative writing, but then if you start creative writing for the UN, it's like, oh yeah, she does creative writing, but it's for the UN, so it's acceptable.
It has nothing to do with them seeing it as prestigious, but they now see that it's lucrative, so that their kids can make money out of fashion. But when everybody lives in a place for so long, the pressures of society fall down upon you. You know, when you're only living in Nigeria, and although Nigeria is quite big, the circles are tiny.
Yeah.
You start to think about what your friends think of your kids and etc. because that's all you know. These are people you're going to be with for the rest of your life, unfortunately. Their opinions kind of matter to you. They shouldn't, but
They
I
do.
think that's just the difference.
It's fine for people's opinions to matter to you, but then when you allow those opinions to dictate how, like, what your child is studying, because people could be out here studying things that they actually hate just to satisfy these opinions, and that doesn't guarantee their success. I think when it comes to Nigerian parents and education for their kids, they're thinking, can I use this for bragging rights? Will this make me look good? Is it lucrative? And so if it doesn't satisfy if it doesn't check those boxes, it's a dismissed field of study. And I have a problem with that because through all of that, we're forgetting about the person who's actually studying the thing and their success and their happiness. Do you know how many people I know that have gone to study medicine and then like midway are like, I don't actually want to do this, so I'm gonna stop and start again, and I'm gonna do something I want to do.
It's just the knowledge of saying that your child has achieved this medal, not that it does anything or it did anything, but again, it's just so you can brag.
Yeah.
And again, you've alliterated word bragging nation.
Yeah.
Because no matter what degree you get, if you don't want to do anything in that subject, that degree is useless.
It's useless.
I studied fashion design, and about people tell me, oh, so you're studying to become a tailor.
Also, what I don't like is Nigerian friends' parents asking, oh, where do you go to school? What are you studying? It's almost like you feel as though you have to impress them with your answer, and I've gotten over that. Like, it took me a while to get over that, but it was just annoying because unless you're saying, oh, I'm studying medicine at, I don't even know, insert prestigious university here, it almost felt like you were being judged for not, like, satisfying whatever opinion or view they wanted to have.
Many people who are condemned to these subjects, who are condemned to these careers, and they're not happy.
I'm sure there are people at who have gotten into great universities just to be able to get into great universities, so they say that they can, they got it, study these things, but are really miserable. But just the fact that they can say, oh, I'm doing this in this place to satisfy the opinions of all these elder Nigerians, or even Nigerians our age, is what's driving them. And it's not good to be driven by other people's opinions, because if all those people disappear and you like scrape things down to the root, you're just gonna be unhappy.
You can never show people you're failing. You know, you could really need help, but our society has conformed us and pushed us to such a place that you feel somehow embarrassed to ask for help. You feel somehow embarrassed that you're not doing as well as the other person.
And that other person may not necessarily be doing that well. They're just showing you the highlight reel of their life.
How can you stop your child from being what they want to be? And again, how can you belittle someone based on their education? Some Nigerian parents, they do just kind of want you to be happy, but a lot of them are just too caught up in the infrastructures of society and the norms.
The infrastructures of society. Yeah, that's the line. They're caught up in the infrastructures of society. That's exactly
I'm
it.
talking to an architect. I feel like I should express myself in a way.
You're so silly.
Talk to me, darling. Hollering at night, winking, smiling, and one more tap.
The loud got me moving slow mo. Hey, yo, tweet.
We want our children to believe that they can be anything that they want to be.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, money is important, we live in a capitalist society, so yes. But that doesn't mean you should derail your child, because what you don't know is your daughter is actually the next Beyonce, but you're talking her down so much and beating her down so much and making sure she becomes a lawyer that she never reaches that potential.
Exactly.
Every time I'm out, why she stressing me? You call it Stephanie, I call it Heffany.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking, the hot box.
I think that Nigerians care a lot about the ranking of the educational facilities that their kids go to.
What uni is not a top 20 or whatever, but for creative courses and what I'm studying,
Yeah.
it's all freaking best universities I could go to in the country.
Right. We need to be focusing on whether the educational facility that your child is in is conducive to them. Do they love it? But instead, parents are like, especially when applying to school, it's like, oh, where are they ranked? And I know someone had told me a story where they said that when they were applying to schools, they got into a plethora of schools, and the top school they got into wasn't giving them any money, and the other schools they got into were good, but their dad said, no, but you know, that school, people know that school and it's highly ranked, so just go there even though you're not getting money from there. And whilst that's great, you don't know whether the subject that they want to study, you don't know whether that educational facility is the best for that. Just because someone hasn't heard of a university or a school does not necessarily mean that they're not good. Yes, there are schools out there that we all know and that they're famous, and that's awesome. But is it a great learning environment for your child? Whilst I think it's very important to push your child to study something that they can make something out of themselves with, it's also good to make sure that you're pushing them in a direction that they want to go in. And I think when it comes to creative fields, Nigerian parents tend to dismiss them and treat them like they're not as important as A, B, or C. And I don't like that. I hate it. And I understand that a lot of the time you want your kids to study things that will be lucrative, but being successful financially is not necessarily only tied to what you study. It also determines whether you enjoy what you're doing. It's not nice to have gone through so many years of school studying something you don't like to satisfy the opinion of your parents and their friends, only to come out and be unhappy, end up, I don't know, doing something that you don't actually enjoy because your degree isn't something you actually want to use. There are just so many layers to this cake, and I think it could all be prevented if your son says he wants to be a nurse, motivate him to be the best nurse out there. And I'm saying son and nurse because I feel like, especially Nigerians, we associate nursing with women, and I just think that's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. But if your child shows interest in something and you push them in that direction, they can be the best at that thing. We need to stop imposing what we feel as Nigerians or as Africans or as parents, what we feel will look the best or will be the most lucrative on our children, because it may not work for that child. Every child is different. Also, just because so-and-so's child is getting all A's does not mean that your child is any less or not as good. We need to stop comparing, especially in school. But does this person have two heads? Stop comparing them to other people's kids, because children learn differently. People learn differently. People thrive in different environments. So if your child's not doing well in school, rather than beat your child and why aren't you doing well in school? Why can't you memorize? This person, do they have two heads? Find out what the actual root of the problem is. You can't just be out here beating children who aren't doing well in school without trying to get to the root of the problem. It doesn't work. When it comes to education and field of study in Nigeria, I just want people to be more open-minded to fields outside of these fields that we have been programmed to believe are the only ones that can be lucrative or that can make people successful. It also depends how we're defining success. By forcing your child to study something, or by like imposing it on them that they need to study a certain kind of thing, you're actually taking away from a success that they could have in something else. I say kids a lot, and I don't mean to say that in that I'm speaking of like 12 to 18-year-olds. I'm not speaking of a specific group of people. I'm speaking of people who are still influenced or still have relationships with their parents that apply to the things that I'm talking about.
We're freaking awesome as Nigerians, you know, like, maybe that's just the pride that's instilled into us.
Yeah, we are not. We're great.
We are, like, I feel like we are one of those, we can literally achieve anything if we decided that we wanted to.
And we go 0 to 100 quick.
Cooking up dope with a boost.
Let me tell you guys, the mascara I'm using, shout out to Roxanne, one of my bae ones, who introduced me to this mascara. It's incredible. I'm not a makeup person, so bear with me here, please. I don't know if I'm doing this right, but for anyone who wants to know, because I've been asked, I am wearing the L'Oreal Paris False Lash Telescopic. It's incredible. I do not have like lashes slayed by the gods, like not like that. My eyelashes are very basic. But I saw these on I saw Roxanne's eyelashes and I was like, hi, girl, fill me in. And she gave me her mascara because I have incredible friends and I love you. And I bought 3 because she was right. Like this thing works miracles. I put on like 2 coats. These are 2 coats. I don't know if I'm doing it right. And then this is the, oh my gosh, this is so hard. This, oh, am I even doing it right? Hey, it was even upside down. Especially for people like me that are not necessarily the best at makeup, the little things, they count, you know? Bro, look at my lashes. Anyway, for those of you that asked what mascara I wear, it's this bad boy right here. I wear this. And on my lips, I lost my favorite lip balm, so I'm not going to talk about it right now, but when I buy it again, you'll be the first to know. That's a question of the day. If people from Nigeria are Nigerian, what are people from Niger called? And what are people from Burkina Faso called? These are the questions I have. These are the questions I have. Like this video, please don't forget to what? If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share with everyone you know. If you haven't already, subscribe, put on the notification button so you know every time I put up a video. God willing, every Wednesday. See you later!
Bad and bougie, looking so good, shit. Can I get a taste? Push your waist. Need some loving tonight. I got money tonight. No for me tonight. This your waistline. Oh yeah, give me chocolate.